better feel for when that class is able to go for lethal, when that class has to pull back. You may be a better drafter for that class. So when it comes to just asking what the best class is, it really depends on the person. If you're talking about just general overall power of a card, synergies, all that stuff, I would say Mage first, Paladin second. And then a huge conglomerate of other pretty good classes. With probably Warlock and maybe Hunter bringing out the bottom. Maybe Priest too.
You should actually take a look at the chat. There's a lot of dialogue going on, much more than I can possibly read out in a timely fashion. But,
What the fuck? If you fall behind on the board, it's the best card to deal with the board, though. How can you say that it isn't good? I'm assuming that means Flame Strike. It's not good because only stupid people extend the board without things that are more than 5 health against a mage. So what you're mostly going to do is there's going to be one big thing, and at most, if you're really, really lucky, he puts out 2 small things. So you Flame Strike, and then you kill the 2 small things, and the big thing keeps attacking you as you die. And the next turn, he puts out 2 more small things, or another big thing and a small thing. Because he has another pull turn, and you have nothing that you can do on your turn. So you continue taking damage, you haven't changed the board, all that you've done is gained 1 card on him. Which, it's nice to get 1 card. But you know what else gains 1 card on your opponent for the most part? A War Golem. And no one is running around saying, oh my god, War Golem is the best card ever, when you're behind or whatever. So Flame Strike is a bit better than a War Golem when you're that far behind, but it's not going to flip the board. It could flip the board if your opponent is super aggro, and he just has no cards that are big, or he's has very few cards and he only draws so many of them. But the only way Flame Strike works is if you have enough Fireballs and Polymorphs to systematically remove all of his big stuff, while putting small stuff yourself out, so he trades his small stuff in to not get Flame Strike, and eventually he only has small stuff, so then you Flame Strike. There's so many ifs for that Flame Strike to work out. For the most part, Flame Strike is a 2-for-1 card advantage card that deals a little extra damage to some other thing out on the board. If you're ahead, it lets you deal with the pesky things where he puts out 3 things. So Flame Strike, or the threat of Flame Strike, is much more effective when you're ahead on the board than when you're behind. It's effective when you're behind on the board only if you either have a lot of large removals, you either have a lot of card advantage and healing. One of the 2 has to happen. That wasn't our deck. And if one of the 2 is happening, and you also have a couple Flame Strike, you have a pretty good control deck. You could play Priest and it would be also super effective. So that's why Flame Strike doesn't really do much.
Right.
And when I say doesn't do much, I don't mean it's a bad card. I mean it's as good as a Fireball.
Yeah. But and we're knocking Flame Strike a lot. It is a very good card, a top card, one of the top cards in the game. We are just saying when you are behind, yes, it isn't that good.
It's one of the top cards. It's not one of the top 5 top cards. It may not even be one of the top 10 top cards. But of the commons, it's definitely one of the top. But not by a large margin. And I would say there are at least 2 other cards that are clearly better than Flame Strike.
Right. Well, you have your super value cards like the Fiery War Axes, the
Fire Elemental, all of those cards are better than Flame Strike.
True Silver Champions, blah blah blah.
Flame Strike does this thing where it's better against worse players and it's worse against better players, which is fine. But as you saw, we got to 5-1 with this deck. That wasn't it didn't feel too tough. We made some good plays. We may have gotten there at 5-2 instead of 5-1, but we don't need Flame Strike to get there.
Yeah. So he follows up with the question, so would you rather have a Fireball than a Flame?
Depends.
We were presented with the option, but if you are at the end of the draft and you could only have 1, you take the Flame Strike.
You take the Flame Strike, because it serves a function that your other cards don't serve, whereas the Fireball, you probably have a Polymorph or something. But yeah, you do take a Flame Strike at the end there. But if it's your first card, you definitely don't take the Flame Strike, I think. You just have so much chances of getting more Flame Strikes later on, and then your Flame Strikes decrease in value as it goes on. The first one is great. The second one is really, really, really good. The third one is fairly good. The fourth one is okay-ish at best. And you're going to take it for the most part every time you're offered it, because they're mostly not going to be offered with Fireballs.
Yep.
Moxie Fruvis asked, when you have low-value decks like that, do you gamble much harder on maximizing the value of what you have, e.g. hold back MC tech? I think we do. and I think we should. The only reason we didn't in the last game is because it was against a priest. So there was no way to win a control war against a priest, no matter how much mind control techs you have. They generally don't even need to put four minions on the board because they have big minions. And if they do put 4 minions on the board, your mind control tech is unlikely to be the deciding factor because they have so many card draw and all of their cards are worth more than 1 card because they can just heal it.
Right.
So
Yes, you hold it back, but then so it tips the scale a little bit towards holding it back, but at no point do you want to hold it back and just be like, I need to get a good mind control.
Yeah, it depends on what your matchup is and what you're facing. So sometimes we do gamble more, as you saw in some of the earlier games. We made a gamble and it paid off, but for the most part, we don't systematically like just hold cards back because we have a bad deck. If anything, the more like the way you can think of it is holding back a mind control tech is a gamble that it will at some point get more value. On the other hand, you can think of holding the mind control tech back as a gamble because you're behind on the board and you can get overrun.
Yeah. So you see what we did here in recognition of the fact that our deck wasn't so good. We took more calculated risks.
Like that play in which we coined out the Quest the Adventure, we would not have done that if we had a good deck. I don't think. I think it was the right play, but we probably would have just played it slower.
Yeah, it could have blown up in our face, but if we didn't do that, we were facing, and just coined out the Yeti, we were facing the possibility that next turn we could have had nothing to do.
Yeah. Hey, so do you think when you get a deck, it's at the first deck you open, or is it the last pack you open? Like when you get a pack.
Ooh.
Because I've always wondered that. Like, I want to know which pack here was from the run, and which packs were from, like, other runs. Ooh!
Oh. Ooh.
Okay. Let's make this good.
Malus.
Any golden legendary. Any golden legendary.
Okay, wait. You got 2 last week. You can't.
I can ask for more. Yeah, fine.
Do you have one yet?
I don't know. I think I did. I'm not sure, though. I just want the golden ones. They're so much prettier. It also really annoys me that there are no golden cards in the arena.
Yeah. 1 second.
Alright, so thank you everybody for watching, and thanks for the kind words of encouragement. We will see you again next week at 8 o'clock on Sunday again, and hopefully we will have a better run next time and go a little farther. Okay, we got enough golden cards. I'm satisfied with these pack openings.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm a little more satisfied after this one, I think.
Oh.
Maybe just a little more satisfied. Yeah, but really, if it was a golden, I would feel much better about this crappy run. Nah. Although I don't think I have a Tink Master. I'm pretty sure I don't. So
well, I don't think you want a Tink Master.
Okay, so thanks everyone for watching. We will hopefully see you again next time.
Yep, take care guys. Thanks for tuning in.